Hey barbecue fans, JB here from Barton Barbecue Smoke Works. We are throwing down on some ribeyes today, the king of Texas. So we've got an overcast day, which means in late July the temperature is not too bad. So we're out in the backyard messing around. We're going to fire the grill grates up and season these ribeyes up with some new seasoning we just got in the mail today. Brand new on the market. Excited to share it with you. Hope you enjoy it. Here's the tools we'll be using for today's cook. We've got our Magnus Chef heat resistant gloves, our grill grates, spatula, because we're going to be cooking on the grates today, a timer, because I like to time when I'm cooking on the grates so that you don't burn the meat. You just want to sear it, and we'll talk more about that later. We've got our ThermoWorks Thermopop, a temperature gun so we can tell what temperature the grates are at. It's not necessary, but I like to use mine because I like to cook at a certain temperature on the grates. Of course, we'll have a little butter spritz, and then we're going to try the brand new Mad Raccoon seasoning we just got in. It's a beef rub. Alright, we've got about 1/3 of a rib roll here, and we're going to get to trimming. We're going to cut some of this silver skin off that you see, some of this fat, trim some of this fat down. Definitely going to leave some of it on because I like ribeye fat. And then cut us some nice thick steaks out of it. Alright, we're going to get these seasoned up. Again, we're working outside. I apologize for any windy audio. Seems like every time I want to film outside, we get some good wind. But we're going to use a little Lee & Perrins Worcestershire as a binder on these today, just to kind of help that seasoning stick on there. Plus it gives it a little extra zing in the flavor, and I like it. So we're going to go with a medium to heavy coating of the Mad Raccoon beef rub. Alright, here's how I like to set up my fire for cooking on grill grates. We're going to put the fire kind of to one side. So from the middle back to one side. So what this allows me to do is when I get the grill grates on there is I've got all my heat in the middle and towards the back. So if I want to, if the fire's burning too hot and the grates are too hot, I'll pull that steak forward and I'll find the happy medium temperature in there. So it gives me a range of temperatures across the grill grate. So don't be afraid to experiment with that. We're also going to add some chunks of hickory to this fire for a little bit of flavor. We'll give that a minute to catch, and then we're going to put our grill grates on. So we're going to let these heat up to about 600 to 615 degrees, and that's where I like to cook the steaks at. Gives you a good sear without burning it and giving you that bitter off flavor. So probably going to take about 15 minutes or so. We'll come back and check it out here shortly. So if you decide to get a external thermometer and practice for your SCA events while cooking at home, and make sure when you're shooting this temperature that you're shooting to the top of the rib, not to the bottom of the grate. All right, your meat's going to be sitting on top of the grates, and that's what's going to be cooking. You're not going to be cooking on the bottom of the grates. So you want the top of the ribs about 600 to 615 degrees. Seems to work for me. All right, so as I explained earlier, our fire is from here back this way. So our hottest point is going to be back here on the grate, and if you find that that's too hot, you can always slide it up. The cooler side is going to be this side. So I'm going to be cooking somewhere in the middle right now, because the middle is running about 615, 620 degrees. The back is real hot. It's probably running 675, 700. So it's a little bit hot, but that fresh wood we just put in there is probably caught fire and taking us a little high. Anyway, you have to learn to monitor those temperatures across the grates and utilize that temperature as you need it. All right, as we discussed, I like to use a timer whenever I'm cooking these, and I always start out at 1 minute and 15 seconds. I'll pull it after 1 minute and 15 seconds and look at the grill marks, because I'm always practicing for a steak competition. So even when I'm cooking in the backyard, I'm trying to make the steak pretty. So I'm going to pull it at 1 minute 15. I'm going to look at those marks and determine if it needs to go to 1 minute 30 or even 1 minute 45, or maybe back down to 1 minute. So right now we're trying to impart the lines, get them straight and pretty and uniform and dark. And so we're going to start at 1 minute 15. So we're going to give the grill a little coat of grease first. All right, showtime. So you can see our steaks are nice and wet looking. We're going to add to that and give them a little butter spritz. And then we're going to go down on the grill with it. Start your timer. So when practicing for SCA, it's good to get into the habit of whenever you do a turn and you pick your steak up off of the grate, go ahead and brush it down with a wire brush. Then make the turn and set the steak down on a nice clean grate. These are a little thicker. The fire's cooled down a little bit, so I'm going to put my rack on this side and let the steak continue to cook over here in the ambient heat while we go ahead and cook the other steaks. I'm shooting for the 115 degree range on these and yanking them. They'll continue to come up, so they should be in that 119 to 120 range when rested, and that's where I like them. That's all we got for today. This steak turned out amazing. Hope you try some of these products. And hey, if you liked what you saw today, hit the subscribe button down here and give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. We're a new channel, we're trying. And we look forward to seeing you next time.